Here's where we went. You can see where Lake Tahoe and Reno are. And we were down here in Hawthorne by Walker Lake in Mineral County, Nevada. We went south of town on Nevada 359 for a short ways, and then we broke off to Lucky Boy Pass, went down over in here to the Fletcher area, and we also went up to the 9 Mile Ranch, and also the Elbow up here a little ways farther. Yeah, as you can see, it's very close to the California-Nevada border. Here's a close-up of where we went. We went south from Hawthorne up the Lucky Boy Pass. We were looking for pinyon pine groves to see how the pine cones look because we want to collect pinyon pines nuts next month. They're great eating, so we were checking out the groves, seeing how they're doing. And this Bodie Road goes by the Lucky Pass. They were doing some mining work in this area, but there's also the Borealis mine, which is active. Now, we didn't go there, but we continued on this road, the Bodie Road, and we went by the Fletcher. That used to be a stage stop back in the day because it's close to Aurora. Now, Aurora, at this ghost town, even Mark Twain went to Aurora, and it was thought to be in California at one time, but it turned out to be in Nevada. So that caused a big uproar in history. And then if you notice, Bodie State Park, which is the Bodie Ghost Mine, that was a huge gold mining boom town up in the mountains there. It's very close. You have to go up Bodie Road here. Now you need a four-wheel drive or a Jeep to get up that. And then right here near Fletcher Station, this area is an intersection called Four Corners, of course. There's 4 points. We continued on to the 9 Mile Ranch and visited with our friend Larry Spickard. Now he's been there as a caretaker on his 9th year. And this, he knows a lot about the area and just a great resource. Now this Rough Creek goes along here and it empties into the East Fork of the Walker River. Rough Creek historically had the Lahontan cutthroat trout, so I'm hoping that they reintroduce those trout at some point in the future. But we continued on the road here. You can make this road in a car with fairly good clearance. You don't want to have like some car that doesn't have good clearance, but you can get a highway car on this road or a pickup truck. And we went over here to the Elbow on the East Walker River. And if you notice, from the East Walker River, it's basically only 4.5 miles to the California state line. Let's stop into the Mineral County Museum in Hawthorne, Nevada. I've got a question for my friend Kelly about that 9 Mile Ranch. Morning, Kelly. Can you believe all that smoke from the fire?
Oh, it's thick.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be really bad here.
Yeah, yesterday I was outside and I could look directly at the sun, look like a big orange orb. That was crazy. And then last night we had that lunar eclipse, plus we had like a harvest moon with all that smoke. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I finally was able to breathe and come down here, ride my bicycle to the museum. I got a question for you about that 9 Mile Ranch.
Okay.
I heard you might have some information on it.
I think I do. Well, look what I found. Here's a couple of photos. Here's one of the stone house at 9 Mile Ranch, and you can see there's been some alterations. Like
Oh, that's the front.
Right, there's no
porch at
on
that
it.
time.
Right, yeah, because they did add on and made some changes.
Uh-huh.
And here's also a photo of Amos Green. Now, in 1860, it's rare to even find a photo.
Here's that portrait of Amos Green. Here's a map of the early transportation routes in the area.
And this is 9 Mile House right here. And then there is Aurora, and of course that's the stage route between them.
Kelly has a really nice display of the local ranching tack from the same area that we were visiting.
This is the Ellen Blair display. It is tack from her ranch that is on that same route going up Lucky Boy. She's one of the first ranches there.
Isn't that her on horseback right there?
Yep.
And here's some of the saddles real quick. Well, Joe's is still closed. Yeah, I almost got sick when that garnet fire first, that blew in. I didn't even know the smoke was there. The next thing I know, I was sick from the smoke.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start heading off to Pile Canyon because we're going to look to see if we can find any pinyon pines up there. And we're going to cut back over to Lucky Boy Pass. We're not sure how the roads are. We had some rain about a week ago, a good thunderstorm, and we heard that they got 1.5 inches in Tonopah. So I think it caused some flash flood damage. So there might be some flash flood damage up this way towards Powell Canyon. We'll have to see. This is the first little culvert just outside of town. And you can see how our last thunder shower came in here and wreaked a little havoc. Of course, our road department cleaned it right up, but you can see where the water was. A lot of smoke this morning surrounding Hawthorne. You can barely even see Mount Grant and Walker Lake in the distance. Kelly, can you still see the road and all that smoke?
Yeah, right now I can.
It's hard to breathe though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And your eyes been tearing up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, but I'm tearing.
You want to keep on going on our adventure today or
Yeah,
call it a wrap?
We'll try it.
Okay, she's gonna hang in there. We're heading up to Lucky Boy Pass area, which is about 30 miles from Aurora right now. And we're looking for some pinyon pine trees. And we're gonna check out and see what the pinyon pines look like for the pinyon pine harvest next month in October. You can see all the smoke that's blown in from Fresno County, California, from the Garnett Fire, all the way over here in Hawthorne, Nevada. I've noticed there's been a lot of heavy equipment just staged along the side of the road like this big dozer, probably because they've been working on the road so much. And we're real fortunate to have a good road crew in our area that gets things taken care of right away. I can see where they piled the sand off the road. We got some pine nuts from this exact tree last year. And as you can see, all the cones are empty of seeds, but they're still very sticky at the sap. Got another little muddy spot, Kelly. Looks like it's passable, no problem, but I'd stay right on those tire tracks. Pretty deep on the sides. Oh, he made it.
Yep.
Be real careful. This looks like some little rough patch here. Road almost washed out.
It was like a river came through.
Yeah. Historic Aurora is up in those hills in the smoke. There's yet another road grader. And then looking down this row of power lines, you can really see the smoke. And also, you can't hardly see the mountains. That's Corey Peak. So Hawthorne would be on the other side of those mountains. And you can't even see past the smoke. There's Fletcher Station in the distance where those trees are. Coming up on the four-way. I don't know, we might get lucky, Kelly. Let's see.
It's looking good so far.
Looking good so far.
Okay, Fletcher is right over there, and then right behind me is Aurora, and then Bodie is kind of off in that direction right there. And then there's a little creek, Bodie Creek, right here.
Let's go see if there's any water in it.
Okay.
You know, when we went up to Aurora, we saw that Bodie Creek, and it did have water in it, but it was a tiny, tiny creek, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Looks like there's an abandoned trailer on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Here's a dilapidated old trailer that's been sitting here for years along Bodie Creek.
Yeah, it's got bullet holes in it and broken windows and the siding's coming off, but you can tell at one time that somebody cared something about it. They had skirting around the bottom and, you know, maybe it was a caretaker's place or something.
Had some potential back in the day.
Yeah. Look at this road right here on this bridge. It's actually wood with just dirt over the top. You can see where there was wood underneath.
I wonder what that is on the side of the road.
That's a good question. Let's go look.
So as you can see, Kellie's always prepared in rattlesnake country. She's got her sandals on today, in case she runs across any rattlesnakes that might be sunbathing. I think the pack rats have already reinforced the structure. Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was a chute because this road, see the road comes along there, and then look, there's this big cutout right here. Like you would, yeah, like you'd fill an ore cart or a big wagon or something in there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think it is. Kellie, you've got the prettiest little feet in those sandals. I think you're really prepared for the rattlesnakes today.
Yeah.
Perhaps the mine was over there and they brought the ore and loaded it there, is what I'm thinking. It's all eroded. Here's all the different colors of rock that you can see. Just all types dug up. Here's the variety of different things. This one, I'm not sure what it is, but it does feel waxy like serpentine. It may probably not
This
serpentine.
one too.
This one does too.
That's a good example of it.
Feels waxy. This is kind of an odd adventure today.
Yeah.
Been surrounded by all this smoke. It's like we keep going back and forth of, well, should we go home or not? And then the roads, a lot of the roads are all messed up and everything from the last thunder showers, all washed out and so forth. But they're still open.
Yeah, they're not bad.
And we're still breathing. And so it always surprises me all the different places and the variety of different places that we can get to from where we live in Hawthorne.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from the high Sierras to the desert ghost towns and all kinds of things, you know. And we've even learned a lot about our area just doing this.
That's true, we have.
I like this shiny little piece of obsidian. If we can find another one, it'll match, and we can put one on each one of your sandals right in the front, right there, like that. Rough Creek is right along the side of that hill where the trees are. I can hear some water flowing right near this lone tree. Pretty thick sagebrush is turning into willows. Water in the desert, Rough Creek. There's some teeny tiny minnows in there. Fish in there. Here's looking at Rough Creek. We're not that far away from the ghost town of Bodie and Aurora in the background. And we're very close to the 9 Mile Ranch. There's the 9 Mile Ranch right there. And then across that valley, that's the Wassuck Range. Mount Grant is in the distance, and you can't even see the range hardly. But Hawthorne is just on the other side of that mountain range. That's the 9 Mile Ranch, just straight ahead. Oh, look, they've got a little outhouse or something out there now.
Yeah, they do.
Huh.
Well, they expect people to come here.
Yeah. Kind of fixing it up. Looks a lot better. Looks like they're doing a lot of restoration work on it. Looks good. This looks like a good spot for a picnic. Wow, it's almost all the way restored. Look at that. Looks great. What do we have for lunch today, Kelly?
Well, we're going to have some wraps and some chips and some vanilla and chocolate chip cookies.
Vanilla and chocolate chip cookies. Look at these, everybody. Yummy. Here's my friend Larry Spickert, who's been up here almost 10 years now as the caretaker. What can you tell us about the historic 9 Mile Ranch?
Well, I don't know where to start off except from what I know in the beginning. It started off as Cobb's Rancho when I first saw it on a map of the Utah Territory.
Right.
And then after that, it was called Nice Swingers, and nobody seems to know the origin of that. But then the Greens bought it.
They were from New Hampshire, right?
Correct. And they came out west in the 1840s and tried to settle in California. And with a little bit of luck, they were there during the gold rush.
Excellent
and
timing.
They got a little money.
Excellent timing.
You know. And then
we're not that far away from Aurora and Bodie, right? Can you imagine all the, people needed eggs, they needed beef, they needed lumber and all that, you know?
Right. Well, that's the reason this is called 9 Mile, is because it's 9 miles from Aurora. It was a mile house, they called it. Back in the day, they didn't have mile markers on the roads like we do today.
Oh, interesting.
They had mile houses.
Oh, okay.
It's like you pull into here, well, we're 9 miles. We're 9 miles from Aurora, or we're 9 miles away from Aurora.
Right.
Just like we have a 5 mile station.
Right.
And Fletcher down here, which before it was called Fletcher, it was called 6 Mile.
Right.
And on this road from Aurora through here, this was the original road to Carson City.
Imagine that. You imagine in the day how many people were, when there's a gold rush going on, the Comstock going on, all this was like all these people coming down this road, and some people that needed a place to stay for the night. They'd feed them breakfast and water their horses and give them hay and oats and all that. It was kind of happening out here at that time.
Yeah. And this was actual a toll road. And
interesting.
I know that there's probably more than one place that you paid the toll, but one of the places was the Elbow on the East Walker,
right,
where there was a ranch down there. It's not there today, but there was a stage stop down there.
So it sounds like all along the route there was places that had springs, such as Fletcher, that had water for the horse, and places you could stop while you're traveling.
Normally, I think it was every 5 or 6 miles.
5 or 6 miles.
Yeah, where they could get
supplies,
water for their team.
So here is the 9 Mile Ranch house, and you can see the extensive renovations they've been doing. And Larry said they've been doing such a good job on this renovation. They actually tagged and numbered each one of the stones in the front and put them all back together in the exact same spot. And I've noticed there's some historical places where someone has sketched their name and the date on there and so forth. So what year did this particular structure date from?
Well, they started construction in 1864.
1864.
Yeah.
I love that balcony up there. Got a great view.
Oh yeah.
So here's the front of the building that you can see, and you see a big sign that says no trespassing right now because it's under construction. It's not open to the public yet, and we can't really go on the other side of the fence right now, but you can get a good look at it from the front. So when is it scheduled to be open to the public? When are they shooting to finish it?
Well, that I don't know. I'm told that the interior needs to go out to bid, and then
Right. So it's still up in the air.
Yeah,
Nothing in concrete yet. But it looks like it's come a long way.
Oh, a long, long way.
Yeah.
And they did such a fantastic job on the exterior.
I can't wait to go in the interior and take a look sometime.
No.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
So Larry is not the spokesperson for the 9 Mile Ranch, but you have been out here 10 years and you kind of know what's going on around these parts. What is the vision, the final vision? Like, are we going to be able to camp here overnight, or is it going to be a day use facility, or what's the final vision?
Well, from what I'm told, it should be a day use area with picnic tables and barbecues, no overnight camping.
Right, right.
And possibly the building would be a visitor center.
I could see that.
Maybe a little / museum with memorabilia from the area.
Uh-huh.
The East Walker,
Oh,
Aurora.
yeah. Almost
maybe
like a little
Bodie.
museum almost.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
There's just so many people that are very interested in
I think you get a
this.
lot of people on the weekends, especially. See
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people off-roading coming through
Yeah.
here, and it's a really
Just
amazing area.
Just has a lot of history for the area, and a lot of people that stop by, they even have a story or two about the ranch and that ranch house itself.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we really enjoyed using your picnic tables, Larry, and we enjoyed using your little shade trees, and had a nice picnic spot.
Well, it's always nice to have people come out and sit down and chat and let me explain things about the area and what's going on.
Definitely. We'll definitely be back.
Well, I hope so.
Back behind the ranch is a cemetery. What can you tell us, Larry?
Well, you can see there's 2 headstones in here, but I was told that there's up to 5 people in here, and I can confirm 4. There's Amos Green, who was the father of the gentleman who built the house here. Cynthia Laughlin over here, who was a domestic who died in childbirth at Fletcher. And then there was Henry Borland, who had a ranch down on the East Walker.
Very famous name.
And he was a politician for Esmeralda County. I think he was county commissioner. And then we had another domestic, Native American out of the Mono tribe in here. I've seen the death certificate with the burial site. And that accounts for 4. And I would imagine, I can't confirm whether or not the child lived when Cynthia Laughlin passed away during childbirth.
So she might be buried with her mother.
That may be the 5th one that's in there.
Now, where is the relation to the town of Fallon, Nevada? Where does that come in here?
Well, I still get a gentleman that comes out every spring and takes care of the cemetery here. His name is Ed Fallon, and he is a descendant of Amos Green. And the Greens and the Fallons, they married, had children, and well, anyway, it's the same namesake as the town of Fallon. These people had farms and ranches.
That's fascinating.
All over the area here.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I'll zoom in on some of these tombstones so you can see. There's Amos Green, and this is the domestic right here
Cynthia Laughlin
lost her life in childbirth.
Yeah.
And that's the Native American
Yes.
grave back there. And
Daisy Moyle Johnson.
Daisy Moyle Johnson. There it is. They still run cattle in here. Most of the herd is over towards the Mount Grant area in the distance, which you can't see because of the smoke. These facilities are still used for the cattle operation. Look at how pretty these horses are. There's 6 of them that are normally at the ranch, but the other 3 are hanging out a long ways from here. Hey buddies! There he comes.
They were hoping.
Yeah.
They're hoping for apples. They're hoping for apples.
Well, if we had known, we'd have saved one.
They're pretty.
Oh yeah.
Huh? They're too smart. They know I don't have any treats for them. Here's a plaque that talks about the 9 Mile Ranch. Some of the famous people in history that have come through here, like Fremont. Heading over to the elbow since we're so close. Here's the elbow. Well, everybody, that was a tough start on our day. I could barely breathe and poor Kelly could barely see, but it cleared out enough and we were able to look around to see if we can find some good pinyon groves for next month for harvesting some pine nuts. And that was great to see our friend Larry Spickard at the 9 Mile Ranch. I think it was a good time.
Yeah, it was. Well, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, it looks like it's all abandoned.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's
been there
somebody's,
for years.
really, I wonder if that's somebody's like hunting cabin. You know? Really? I'm gonna have to come up here and do some fishing later on.